Namaskar and welcome to Midday Prime. Well, the Supreme Court has constituted an expert committee headed by a retired Supreme Court Judge, Justice R.V. Ravindran, to probe the Pegasus matter. Updates on this and other news from the world of business and sports and from across the world over the next 1 hour. But first, let's begin with the big news of this hour. My name is Mark Lynn. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to attend the 16th East Asia Summit today via video conferencing. India is a founding member of this premier forum in the Indo-Pacific and reaffirms its commitment to strengthening economic cooperation. In the Pegasus case, the Supreme Court constitutes an expert committee headed by a retired judge of the Supreme Court, R.V. Ravindran. The committee will conduct a thorough inquiry into allegations of use of Pegasus software for unauthorized surveillance. Captain Rajnath Singh announces the creation of a new political party. He says that he supports the decision to expand the jurisdiction of BSF in border states. He also says that this will help Punjab police. The Union Home Minister Amit Shah addresses the inaugural session of the National Conference on Delivering Democracy, reviewing 2 decades of PM Modi as head of government. And he says that the model to ensure overall development of the country is ready. Devendra Fadnavis also attends, terms the Prime Minister as governance guru of India. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh virtually addresses the Indo-Pacific Regional Dialogue and says that the region faces a number of challenges, including terrorism, drug trafficking and piracy. And he also says that the nature of these challenges requires a cooperative response. The Bombay High Court will resume hearing in a bail plea of Aryan Khan in the cruise drug bust case. The FIR lodged in connection with the complaints leveled against Samir Wankade and Nawab Malik, ACP level officer, to carry out the preliminary inquiry. The Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandaviya to interact with health ministers of all states today, and he'll discuss ways to ramp up COVID-19 vaccination drive in the country. India's cumulative vaccination coverage has crossed 103 crores. Two matches in the T20 World Cup today. England will be facing Bangladesh and Scotland will be playing against Namibia. So at the top of the news, the big story. The Supreme Court has constituted an expert committee. It's headed by a retired judge of the Supreme Court. This is in the Pegasus alleged illegal surveillance case. And this expert committee comprises Alok Joshi and Dr. Sandeep Oberoi. And the retired Justice R.V. Ravindran will oversee the functioning of this expert committee. The Chief Justice of India said that the court is setting up the expert committee to probe truth or falsity of the allegations. The court said that every invasion of privacy must pass the test of reasonableness and constitutional necessity.
आज सुप्रीम कोर्ट की 3 जज की खंडपीठ जो ऑनरेबल चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया के द्वारा हेडेड थी, उन्होंने अभी जस्ट जजमेंट दिया है पेगासस मैटर में। जो पिटिशनर्स कोर्ट के सामने थे, उनको पहली दृष्टि से उनके केस को उन्होंने मानने पाया और इसलिए उन्होंने कमेटी अपॉइंट की है। कमेटी जो है वो रिटायर्ड सुप्रीम कोर्ट जज ऑनरेबल जस्टिस रविंद्रन के थ्रू हेडेड होगी और उसके जो बाकी मेंबर्स हैं वो जो मैं नोट कर पाया जब जजमेंट पास हो रहा था, वो आलोक जोशी, संदीप ओबराय और 3 टेक्निकल मेंबर्स में नवीन कुमार चौधरी, मिस्टर प्रभाकरम एंड मिस्टर अश्विनी गुप्ता होंगे।
And here's Vikas Sabti now joining us with more on this story. Well, because the matter is actually a matter of national security, and when we look at it, that's what was presented before the court. But the court is not wanting to be a spectator. It is also wanting to check about privacy rights of individuals. Fill us in with the details.
Right, Mark. The court was of the opinion that yes, national security is a very important issue, but at the same time, court also said that every time this issue cannot be raised when matter of right to privacy comes before a court for the judicial review. Here, court also noted that it is not the only, in this case, is not only limited to the privacy of specific journalists or social activists as alleged by the petitioners, but when we talk about the right to privacy, it's a matter of right of each and every citizen. Yet, court also noted that yes, intelligence agencies, security agencies need to aspire to gather information to ensure national security, but all these things must be done as per the procedure, as per the specified law. So court was of the opinion that whatever allegations have been leveled by the petitioners, this expert committee which Supreme Court has constituted, it will be able to verify whether these allegations are true or these are mere speculations or these allegations are false. So in the better way for the court will be constitution of a committee. In fact, court also said that center itself said before the court that it is thinking upon forming an expert committee, but court said that instead of center, now the court is directing to form a committee. As you have already said that retired Judge Justice R.V. Ravindran will be overseeing the functioning of this committee. This committee will have some police officials and some technocrats or the cyber expert and network experts.
Right, but because some of the larger issues that might come into play is, the technology is involved and technology is doing the snooping in a sense. So the fact is that this kind of technology is available and should be available only with certain kinds of institutions, which is the state. And if the state has it in an authorized capacity, then the questions of privacy doesn't arise. It comes into the issue of national security. So from that perspective, is the court going to go into the aspect of the technology being widely available?
In fact, court also noted that whatever technology is available, the right to privacy of each and every citizen is under peril. Not necessarily that any security agency or intelligence agency can snoop on population. Court said that these are the challenges before the government, before the court, to ensure that right to privacy is protected. But here in this case, court said that allegations are against the government, and the court also went through the several reports, several international reports, where it was stated that only governments are authorized to use this NSO software. So in this case, Supreme Court only dealt with the power of the government with the right to privacy of a common citizen. So court was of the opinion that in fact center was given enough time. Court said that we gave enough time to the center to file additional affidavits, but the center again said that it's a matter of national security and it will not share more details even with the court. So court was of the opinion that the right way to go into the details or to verify these allegations is to constitute an expert committee which is well equipped, which is well...
So what is the mandate then of the committee, Vikas? Because the question that I was coming at is more or less from the point of view that even smartphones have the capacity to basically give out personal information, and data becomes public knowledge, and that's how you get advertisements in a certain way. Your programming is designed in a certain way by service providers. That also is an aspect of of privacy. One could also argue from another point of view that that is snooping. So this is taking it to a different level, what Pegasus does. So in that context, what is the mandate of this committee?
Right. The court has very clearly said that this committee can record statement of any person whom it wants to question in whatever capacity, whether committee wants to record statement of an official or of an expert of technical issues. The committee can ask them to appear before the committee to record their statements. Apart from it, court has again very specifically has directed all the central agencies and the state government agencies that whenever this committee needs assistance from any central or state agency, they must provide all kind of assistance to members of this expert committee. So whether any state police or central agencies, the expert committee has power to seek help, seek advice, or seek any information from them.
Right, thanks very much, Vikas, for those inputs. Now, moving on then to our developing story. So this is our developing story. Home Minister, Union Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurated a 3-day-long conference titled National Conference in Delivery Democracy, reviewing 2 decades of Narendra Modi as the head of government. This conference will mark 2 decades of Narendra Modi as a head of government. The Home Minister said that before 2014, there was an atmosphere of despair and disappointment among people regarding democratic institutions in the country. However, people made up their minds and gave an absolute majority to the government led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
तक एक कल्याण राज्य या तो राम राज्य की परिकल्पना ध्वस्त हो चुकी। जनता के मन में एक आशंका आ गई कि कहीं हमारी बहुपक्षीय लोकतांत्रिक संसदीय व्यवस्था फेल तो नहीं हो गई। बड़े धैर्य से जनता ने फैसला लिया और प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी को 30 साल के बाद पूर्ण बहुमत के साथ इस देश का शासन सौंपा। पहली बार किसी गैर कांग्रेसी दल की पूर्ण बहुमत की सरकार बनी। 1 महीने में पहली बार भारतीय जनता पार्टी को पूर्ण बहुमत मिला और पहली बार कांग्रेस आइडियोलॉजी के बाहर के लोगों को सत्ता करने का मौका मिला।
Well, the Home Minister also said that the government took a number of bold decisions, including the abrogation of Article 370, banning of instant triple talaq and one rank, one pension. The Home Minister also said that safety and security of the nation was ensured through surgical strike as well as air strikes.
समग्र विकास का मतलब क्या है? देश की सुरक्षा को सुनिश्चित करना। छोटे से बच्चे से लेकर वयोवृद्ध व्यक्ति तक निश्चित हो जाए कि इस देश को कोई उंगली उठाकर देख नहीं सके। इस प्रकार का व्यवस्था तंत्र खड़ा। कई बार हमले होते, उरी और पुलवामा में हुआ, दोनों बार, एक बार सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक और एयर स्ट्राइक करी और दुनिया भर के अंदर संदेश गया कि अब भारत की सीमाओं के साथ छेड़खानी नहीं हो सकती।
The conference was also addressed by senior BJP leader and former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis. And while highlighting Prime Minister Modi's pro-poor policies and initiatives, he termed the Prime Minister as the governance guru of Indian politics.
मोदीनॉमिक्स की बात की जाती है। उस मोदीनॉमिक्स में मोदी जी ने सबसे बड़ा परिवर्तन यह किया कि विकसनशील देश में जो हमारे विकास की अवधारणा हम करते हैं तो उसमें एक बड़ा निवेश ये स्टेट करता है, राज्य करता है, देश करता है, देश की सरकार करती है, जो जीडीपी के ग्रोथ में एक बहुत बड़ा एक एक्सीलरेटर का काम करती है। इस जीडीपी ग्रोथ में सरकार के निवेश की पद्धति को बदलकर गरीबों के लिए निवेश करने का काम मोदी जी ने शुरू किया।
Well, moving on now to our national prime segment. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be attending the 16th East Asia Summit virtually today, and matters of regional and international interest will be discussed at the summit. Concerns on maritime security, terrorism, they will also be taken up during the summit, and leaders are expected to accept the declarations on mental health, economic recovery through tourism, and green recovery, which are being co-sponsored by India. The East Asia Summit is a premier leadership forum in Indo-Pacific. Since its inception in 2005, it has played a significant role in strategic as well as geopolitical evolution of East Asia. Apart from the 10 ASEAN member states, East Asia Summit includes India, China, Japan, Republic of Korea, Australia, New Zealand, the United States and Russia. India, being a founding member of the East Asia Summit, is committed to strengthening the East Asia Summit process and making it more effective for dealing with contemporary challenges. It's also an important platform for furthering practical cooperation in the Indo-Pacific by building upon convergence between ASEAN outlook on Indo-Pacific and the Indo-Pacific Oceans Initiative. And here's Arun Sharma now joining us with more inputs on this story. Arun, so it's ASEAN +8. That's what East Asia is. And we can see that in this particular summit, Myanmar is not part of this summit, and for particular reasons, that is to enforce a certain code. But the point is that these summits are all taking place close enough, like the G20 is going to come soon. After that, we're going to have COP26. So there seems to be some sort of an alignment, one can think, of global issues. What would you say?
Absolutely, Mark. So when we talk about the multilateral platform, there are many regional and international issues that are likely to dominate on all these multilateral platforms. Yes, East Asia Summit, then ASEAN-India Summit, then we have G20 Summit going forward, and of course the COP26 meeting as well. But the important part when we talk about the East Asia Summit today is, of course, going to be three important aspects. Because a declaration will be adopted and accepted by the members of this East Asia Summit. And these, when we talk about these important declarations, one is related to mental health, second is related to economic recovery in the post-COVID pandemic time via tourism specifically, and last but not least, it's about green initiative. India is co-sponsoring all these declarations. Now, it means a lot because Prime Minister Narendra Modis has been very vocal about coordinated efforts as far as COVID-19 is concerned, second as far as green energy is concerned, and last but not least about the economic recovery as well. On various multilateral platforms, he has been very vocal about all these efforts. So when we talk about the COVID-19 and the economic recovery process after the COVID-19, how can there be a free movement primarily with less restrictions specifically in the ASEAN region specifically? How can travelers, the tourists can have easy movement of themselves, the professionals can have an easy movement? That is likely to be part of this declaration. Second important aspect is that how can there be a coordinated effort as far as vaccines are concerned? Because earlier to this summit, there was Quad summit in USA. Over there also, India's efforts as far as vaccination drive is concerned, that was much appreciated. And even in this East Asia summit, we noticed that India's effort as far as vaccination drive is going to be very much significant. The best practices that India has implemented, how can India collaborate with other countries as far as vaccination drive is concerned? These are likely to be topics that will be dominating as far as East Asia Summit as well. So yes, the COVID-19 collaboration, a recovery after the COVID pandemic time, and of course the green initiative are likely to dominate as far as these initiatives are concerned.
Right, but you did mention right at the start a crucial point, which is mental health. Now this is an issue that we don't see usually getting too much attention at a global level, or even at a regional level or multilateral level. Why is this important issue being sponsored by India?
Well, so we know this fact, Mark, that this time around the challenges of all the economies are very much similar. That is COVID-19 pandemic, and how can there can be a global coordinated effort as far as fight against COVID-19 is concerned. So that is, that is an important point that is likely to dominate as far as East Asia Summit is concerned. But we should not forget this climate change is something that is very much common in various multilateral platforms, because Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also be in Glasgow, in the month of November. And over there he will be addressing the COP26 summit. The idea would be that how can various big economies, the developing countries, developed countries can come together as far as climate initiative is concerned. And now also we know this fact that when Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses or will be participating in the East Asia Summit, an important declaration related to green initiatives will also be there. And India has been leading as far as the International Solar Alliance is concerned, as far as its climate commitments by 2030 is concerned. So India is on its path, to achieve the big green initiative, the green targets as well. How can best practices can be shared? How can incentivize be done to the developing countries as far as adoption of the green technology is concerned? So all these are very much likely to be dominating as far as this multilateral platform is concerned.
Arun Sharma, thanks very much for your inputs. Moving on then to our next story. Well, the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh virtually addressed the inaugural session of the Indo-Pacific Regional Dialogue 2021. The Defence Minister said that although maritime domain presents a number of opportunities for neighbouring countries, however, the region also faces a number of challenges. These include terrorism, piracy, drug trafficking, among others, and he added that the nature of these challenges, they require a cooperative response. Let's listen.
Over resources has intensified the rise of serious threats such as terrorism, piracy, drug trafficking, and climate change have thrown new challenges for our Indo-Pacific region. The nature of these challenges in the region has considerably transnational implications which require a cooperative response. There is therefore a need to find convergence of interests and commonality of purpose on maritime issues.
Well, he also said that neighbouring countries share common heritage and common history. He said that the destinies of entities in the region are interlinked.
The littoral states of the Indo-Pacific are full of such interconnects, and all of us are maritime neighbors whose relations are rooted in civilizational contacts developed through the seas. Honorable Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modis description of the Indo-Pacific as a natural region where destinies of entities are interlinked finds its root in this people-to-people connect, facilitated by our severe maritime heritage. Knowledge of this common history driven by the oceans is essential towards understanding where the region stands today and the trajectory for the future.
Well, addressing the Indo-Pacific Regional Dialogue 2021, the Naval Chief Admiral Karambir Singh underlined the importance of the region, saying the core idea of the Indo-Pacific is more important than the geographical area. And he also said that the maritime orientation of the Indo-Pacific and the awareness of evolving nature of competitions in the region, they are other dimensions of this region.
I think what matters is the core idea of the Indo-Pacific, and that means narrower articulations, less relevant. Secondly, is the maritime orientation of the Indo-Pacific, as Admiral Nanda also spoke, something we cannot lose sight of. So we have to be aware of the evolving nature of competition and contestation in this region. This is the third facet that shapes the Indo-Pacific.
Well, the former Chief Minister of Punjab, Captain Amarinder Singh, has announced his decision to form a new party. He addressed the media in Chandigarh, and Captain Amarinder Singh said that the name of this party will be announced once the Election Commission clears it, along with a symbol. He hinted a seat-sharing arrangement with the BJP in the upcoming polls in the state.
I am forming a party. Now the question is, what is the name of the party? I can't tell you because I don't know it myself. Our lawyers are today working with the Election Commission, and Jado Election Commission gives us the name, approves the name and approves the symbol, I will come and tell you all. But I can't give you मैं तो पहला कोई नाम दे दूँगा कि पार्टी ला और कोई निकला है कुछ और तो that won't be right. अच्छा हाँ जी.
Sir, it's well once you form the party, you will be aligning with BJP. And over the last few days,
I never said aligning with BJP. I said we will have a seat sharing. We want to. I haven't talked to BJP. I haven't talked to Mr. Dilsa's outfit. I've talked to nobody.
Well, Captain Amarinder Singh also said that he endorses the centre's order extending the jurisdiction of the BSF in border states.
Whether it's in the Vidhan Sabha now, they want to hold a special session, या कल all party meeting की थी, and find out what is. Don't deny anything. लोगों के सामने रखो और दसो कि आ चीज हो रही है और अपा सारे उन रल के ना सामना करिए. अगर पिंडा ने कोल कोई ड्रॉप होंगे और किसी को पता है सानू दसो, असी पुलिस पे जाने थे. असी we will send BSF there. Now BSF has taken over 51 kilometers not to come into and take over Punjab administration. They've come for assistance to our police to do this work. And this is not for Punjab. It's happening in Gujarat, it's happening in Rajasthan, it's happening here, it's happening in Jammu Kashmir, it's happening in Bangladesh, on Bangladesh border, it is happening on all the Chinese borders.
The Bombay High Court will today resume its hearing in the bail plea of Aryan Khan in the cruise drug bust case. The Bombay High Court yesterday heard the bail applications of the accused, the senior advocate Mukul Rohatgi, representing Aryan Khan, the son of the Bollywood actor Shah Rukh Khan. Aryan had moved the High Court after both magistrate and sessions courts had rejected his plea. Aryan and other accused were arrested after the NCB, the Narcotics Control Bureau, raided a rave party on a ship heading to Goa from Mumbai on October 2. 14 people were taken into custody, of which 8 people were arrested. Meanwhile, there are 6 complaints received by the Mumbai police regarding allegations against the NCB officials. 4 of these 6 complaints are leveled against Samir Wankade and 2 are against the NCP leader Nawab Malik. So far, no FIR has been lodged, but the ACP level officer has been directed to carry out preliminary inquiry about these allegations. Preliminary inquiry began on Tuesday, days after Prabhakar Sale, who is the driver of another witness in the case, that's KP Kasavi, made allegations against the NCB zonal chief Samir Wankade, who is leading the probe in the case. Sale's statement was recorded at the DCP Zone 1 office. Wankade had earlier filed an affidavit in the Mumbai Special Court stating that all the allegations are baseless and misleading with the intention to hamper the ongoing investigation. Yogesh Sheetal is with us, and Yogesh, let's get an update from you now. So the situation is getting quite murky in a sense, you know, with numerous new allegations that are coming on. As far as Samir Wankade's case is concerned, there is, you know, fresh allegations by Nawab Malik about his, you know, whether he's a Hindu or a Muslim and stuff like that. So that's added a different color to the case.
Definitely there are new things are emerging in this case on a daily basis. We have seen the back-to-back tweets are being posted by one of the cabinet ministers who have rightly said the Nawab Malik, in fact, in particular. So this is, you know, this is something which is happening out of the court, and also we have seen the exchange of allegations within the leaders also from different parties in Maharashtra. So this is what's happening outside court. On the other end, talking precisely what's happening on legal front. So the Bombay High Court will be hearing this case today as far as bail application of Aryan Khan and other 2 accused are concerned. Right now the case number is around 37, 38, 39, and currently number 27 case is being heard. So we may expect that in another 1 or 2 hours the argument will be started. Yesterday we have seen that Mukul Rohatgi, who is the former Attorney General of India, was arguing on behalf of Aryan Khan, and he had in fact completed his argument. Today the NCB will be arguing in this case, and before NCB will start argument, also Munmud Dhamecha and also the Arbad Merchant, these 2 accused advocates are also likely to place their arguments. So it is basically a very important day today, because we know that after 2 or 3 days the holiday, court holiday is going to be started, and it is from 1 to 12 of November. So definitely defense basically trying to get the orders secured by that time, so that it would be easy for them to ensure that the Aryan Khan would come out of the prison. So this is also very important thing if bail is granted them.
On the other hand, what NCB, Basic Narcotics Control Bureau, is putting before the court, that is very important. I think that is very important to see in this case, because the way all the arguments, all the points, particularly through the FIR, the arguments, the points by point, the arguments have been done. WhatsApp chat argument also, whether he was invited there or whether he went there voluntarily, what happened during the action about Panchinama. So different things are being argued at this point in time in the High Court.
Right, so that is the question, in fact, that I was coming to, which is about the electronic evidence that is available, because there is the case, I mean, the counter arguments that were being put, or the counter allegations that were being put, is that this is a case of extortion now, you know, to try and so from the NCB officials. So it's a case of corruption that has been brought into light. So the point is that the arguments are being made that if you do have an electronic, surveillance, in a sense, not investigation, that all these phone records and everything comes up to light, then you will know for sure what is the real case. Has that actually, is that being entertained at all? In the case of Samir Wankade, I'm talking about.
See, Mark, there are two things here. As far as electronic evidences are concerned, we have seen that agency has said that how mobile and also other electronic gadgets was seized, and on the basis of the retrieval of the WhatsApp chats, entire case has been in fact framed.
Yes.
Now, what happened in the court yesterday also, Mukul Rohtogi argued that the WhatsApp chats basically belong to 2018, and those WhatsApp chats, there is no mention of cruise party on 2nd of October. So basically that was the major argument from the defense at that point in time. So basically it is the defense is trying to say that whatever WhatsApp chats have been retrieved, that those chats have nothing to do with the current case, that is cruise ship drug case. Now on the other end, as far as other electronic evidences are concerned, and Samir Wankade in particular is concerned, so the defense has been demanding since the day one that they want the entire CCTV footage, and that is also a matter we're talking. Samir Wankade is in the line of fire at this point in time, as far as allegations are being made against him also by one of the punch witnesses, Prabhakar Sai.
Yes.
So now defense is basically mounting pressure on the prosecution to ensure that CCTV footages are made available, and also the matter was also raised in the court also. So the CCTV footage is still not out as of now. So both electronic evidences are important as far as mobile CDR is concerned, and also the CCTV footage are concerned. So electronic evidences are definitely going to play a very vital role in this case.
Yogesh Sheetal, thank you very much for your inputs. Yogesh Sheetal there following this important case for us. Moving on then to our next story. So the Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandaviya will hold a meeting with the health ministers of states and union territories. This is regarding the ramping up of COVID-19 vaccination drive in the country, and the health minister will discuss with the health ministers of the states about the Pradhan Mantri, the Prime Minister Ayushman Bharat Health Infrastructure Mission during this meet. And the centre, as we know, has urged the states and the union territories to focus on the beneficiaries who are waiting for the second dose of COVID-19 vaccines after their interval period gets over. The states and union territories have been urged to improve the momentum of vaccination and accelerate its coverage as the country moves towards vaccinating with a target to vaccinate the eligible population by the end of the year. India has covered 76% of the eligible population with the first dose. Vishal Barrister will be joining us in a little while. Vishal Barrister is with us. Vishal, so this is a crucial bit of information, that we need, that the government is ramping up on the vaccination drive, especially concentrating on giving the second dose, because only then, a person is fully vaccinated in a sense. But the point is that 76% of the population, of the eligible or the target population, has already received the first dose.
Well, indeed, a very good afternoon to you, Mark. Yes, the first milestone has been achieved, but this is not all, because this is a pandemic and we are fighting an invisible enemy. So we all need to be very, very careful, and that is why the Union Health Minister would be telling the health ministers of all the states and union territories to focus on the beneficiaries, especially those who have been vaccinated once but who are scheduled to receive their inoculation for the second time, and this is very much important. Apart from that, he would also be discussing the PM Ayushman Bharat mission that is going to be very important, and this is a scheme that is being launched nationwide, which the Prime Minister launched on the 25th of this month. And the states would be asked to concentrate on these schemes because the disease is quite deadly. And let me also tell you that an IT mechanism which would be surveilling the disease from block to national level is also on the cards. So all these issues are to be discussed in this very important meeting, because nobody should be left unvaccinated and everybody has to be inoculated. Now we have been talking about 103 crore plus people who have been vaccinated, and it's a huge achievement on part of the Modi government.
Right.
But let me tell you that there are many who have to receive the second dose of vaccination, which the states need to focus upon, and then the below 18 group that are still under the trial stage. So all these things have to be taken care of. And then a very important thing is about the emergency package, which is COVID related, and anybody who is affected should be given this package by the earliest. So all these issues are very important and crucial because the country would be soon having the festive season, and this is the time when the virus gets the time to spread, and we have to be very, very careful on this note.
Indeed. Also, Vishal, you know, the method that the government follows is that it sets targets and it pushes to achieve those targets, and we can see now that the Ayushman Bharat infrastructure program has also been launched, and this is important also from that point of view, is to put in place the systems that will allow you know, the development of the healthcare sector over a period of time, because I mean, what this virus has taught us is that healthcare infrastructure needed to be built up. Tell us a little bit about this mission that was launched by the Prime Minister on the 21st.
Well, absolutely, Mark. This mission was launched nationwide by the Prime Minister from his constituency in Varanasi on the 25th of this month, and it talks about how the whole country has to be covered under one mission, and that is to provide a health infrastructure for them. Not only the health infrastructure, but also a mechanism so that anybody who needs attention is being taken care of till the block level, from national level to the block level, and that is why this mission would be taking care of the diseases, especially the pandemics and the epidemics. So this is a very, very crucial mission. But the states will also have to follow up, and not only the states but also the union territories, and that's why the Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandaviya would be telling the health ministers of UTs and other states that they have to be very, very vigilant about this whole issue, because we cannot simply lay back and think that okay, the Prime Minister has launched this scheme and anybody who wants to avail it can come and avail it. We have to follow up each and every case, which is very important, because as I informed our viewers that the festive season is approaching and we need to be very, very careful, because as the season changes there are a lot of diseases that come up. Virus has always been there, but now this COVID virus is the most deadly one that we are all fighting. So remember, though we have already crossed the 103 crore mark, but there are other issues also, and that is about those who have to receive their second dose, and also the under 18 age group. So the surveillance system that is on the cards will play a crucial role, not only keeping an eye on all those who are affected, but also providing them immediate medical response.
Thank you very much, Vishal, for those inputs. Moving on then to our next story. Well, India's COVID vaccination coverage has crossed 103 crore landmark milestone, and over 103 crore 53 lakhs in fact vaccine doses have been administered across the country so far. More than 55.89 lakh vaccine doses have been administered in the last 24 hours. In Kerala, following relaxations have been accorded by the state, half of the theatres are reopened from today onwards with a maximum 50% occupancy. The rest of the theatres will start opening from tomorrow and the day after. So all theatres will be back with big screen screening, that is. And most of the theatres are opening their shows with the latest James Bond film, No Time to Die. The Malayalam films will start only from Friday onwards. So as Deepavali approaches, the theatres are hopeful of recovering from their worst period of the sector, which was hit badly by the pandemic. Many big budget films are set to hit the screen as Deepavali releases. And also the theatre associations, they have been requesting the Kerala government for further relaxations, which is exemption from entertainment tax and special packages for the revival of the film industry, which has been bleeding because of COVID, as they say. The Union Minister for Chemicals and Fertilizers, Mansukh Mandaviya, addressed the Invest India's Summit. This is on opportunities and partnerships in pharma and medical devices. He did so via video link. The minister highlighted the government's pro-industry reforms and efforts to make India the best investment destination in the world.
आप इंडिया में आइए, आपके फार्मा इंडस्ट्रीज लगाइए, आप अपने कंट्री में जितना सिक्योर है इतना ही इंडिया में भी सिक्योर है। आप आपकी इंडस्ट्रीज वहां जितने सिक्योर है इतने ही आपकी इंडस्ट्रीज इंडिया में सिक्योर है। इंडिया इज द बेस्ट इन्वेस्ट डेस्टिनेशन बने, इसलिए भारत सरकार की ओर से जो प्रयास हो रहा है उसका लाभ इंडियन कंपनी भी ले, दुनिया भी ले।
Well, the Supreme Court will tomorrow hear a petition filed by the Education Ministry's National Testing Agency, and this is against the Bombay High Court's order for holding NEET 2021, the national level medical entrance exam, once again for two candidates. The petitioners, Vaishnavi Bhopali and Abhishek Shivaji, they have alleged that they were handed over question papers and answer sheets with different serial numbers in the undergraduate medical entrance exam. In an unprecedented order, the Bombay High Court on October 20 directed the NTA, set up in 2018 for conducting the NEET for admissions to undergraduate medical courses, to hold a fresh exam for these two students and declare their results along with the main results of the test conducted on September 12. The NTA, in its appeal, said that the NEET undergraduate 2021 examination for more than 16 lakh candidates has been conducted on September 12, and due to the High Court's order, it has not been able to declare the results even though the same is ready for declaration. It added that the delay in declaration of the result will affect and further delay the subsequent process of admission to undergraduate medical courses, that's MBBS, BDS, BAMS, BSMS, BUMS and BHMS courses. The President of India, Rajnath Singh, paid homage to the former President of India, K.R. Narayanan, on his birth anniversary at the Rashtrapati Bhavan today. The President and officials of the Rashtrapati Bhavan paid floral tributes in front of the portrait of K.R. Narayanan. This is Midday Prime, and now news and updates from the world of business. Let's go across to Tanvi. There she is. Over to you, Tanvi.
Thank you, Mark. Up first in Business Prime, let's talk about the stock markets. Well, the domestic stock markets, after erasing small gains on Wednesday, have now moved in the red zone. So the Sensex at the BSE had declined 186 points, or 0.3% to 61,164 a short while ago. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange had shed 49 points, or 0.3% to 18,219. Talking about the broader market, the BSE Mid-Cap Index had added 0.4%, while the Small Cap Index had advanced 0.7%. The top index gainers on the BSE so far are Asian Paints, Sun Pharma, SBI, Bharti Airtel and Tech Mahindra, with gains of between 1.4 and 5.1%. Top index losers are Axis Bank, Bajaj Finance, IndusInd Bank, Bajaj Finserv and Hindustan Unilever, with losses of between 1 and 5.4%. Other key Asian markets slipped on Wednesday, with new regulatory worries sparking the steepest sell-off in 7 weeks for Chinese tech shares, and as investors wagered on inflation pulling forward interest rate rises. So MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan fell 0.8%, led by a 3.5% decline on the Hang Seng Tech Index after China's internet watchdog said that it plans stricter registration rules for younger net users. The Hang Seng Index itself slumped 1.6%. Japan's Nikkei 225 index had lost 0.3%. South Korea's Kospi index had shed 0.8%, and China's Shanghai Composite Index had lost 1%. Over on Wall Street, US stock indices closed modestly higher on Tuesday, with the Dow Jones Industrial Index and S&P 500 hitting fresh records, and gains were subdued as Facebook shares fell in the wake of its quarterly earnings. So the S&P 500 gained 0.2%, while the Nasdaq Composite Index gained 0.1%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.04%. Facebook was the biggest drag on the S&P 500 and Nasdaq after the company warned that Apple's new privacy changes would weigh on its digital businesses. Back home at the interbank forex market, the rupee had depreciated 6 paise against the dollar in opening deals on Wednesday, weighed down by firm crude oil prices and a stronger greenback in the overseas market. Later in afternoon deals, the rupee was down 3 paise to trade at 74 rupees 99 paise against the dollar. At the multi-commodity exchange, both gold and silver are again trading on the lower side in afternoon deals. Gold had declined 172 rupees at 47,641 rupees per 10 grams. Silver had weakened 365 rupees at 64,624 rupees per kilo. Petrol and diesel prices were hiked again after a 2-day pause on Wednesday as rates jumped to record high levels. The latest increase that follows the unrelenting hike in international oil prices. Now in Delhi, petrol and diesel rates soared 35 paise. According to oil marketing companies, a litre of petrol now costs 107 rupees 94 paise and diesel costs 96 rupees 67 paise per litre in the national capital. In Mumbai, petrol is being retailed at 113 rupees 80 paise and diesel is being sold at 104 rupees 75 paise per litre. And internationally, global crude oil prices fell on Wednesday after industry data showed crude oil stockpiles rose more than expected and fuel inventories unexpectedly increased last week in the United States, the world's largest oil consumer. So Brent crude fell 69 cents or 0.8% to $85.71 a barrel after closing at the highest in 7 years on Tuesday. US crude declined 79 cents or 0.9% to $83.86 a barrel after gaining 1.1% in the previous session. So that's it in the Business Prime segment for today. Back to you, Mark.
Thanks very much, Tanvi. And now let's take a look at what's making news across the globe. A snapshot at the COVID-19 figures from across the world, and so far more than 24 crore, 53 lakh people have contracted COVID-19, and of these numbers, the recoveries stand above 22 crore, 24 lakh globally. The virus has claimed over 49 lakh, 80,000 lives worldwide. The US is the worst affected country from the disease, and the number of cases have crossed 4 crore, 64 lakh. And the death toll now is about 7,59,000. So Australia is going to be lifting a ban on citizens traveling overseas without permission. According to announcing this, in fact, the government has said that that the country's borders, they will open to skilled workers as well as international students by the end of the year. More than 18 months after Australia closed its international borders, fully vaccinated citizens will no longer have to seek an exemption to leave the country. It comes as the country's adult double-dose vaccination rate has edged closer to 80% target, and in March 2020, that is, last year, Australia in fact had introduced some some of the world's toughest measures, the strongest restrictions to keep COVID out of its country. But not very successful. But anyway, the Australian Prime Minister has said the unvaccinated tennis players would be allowed to enter the country to play the Australian Open in January if they underwent the mandatory 2-week COVID-19 quarantine. The Prime Minister's statement is good news for Tennis Australia, who want Serbia's world number 1, Novak Djokovic, and other top players whose vaccination status is unclear to be able to compete at the Grand Slam. Cuba will open its borders and ease entry requirements next month, signaling that a 2-year pandemic pall is lifting. This is from the Caribbean island, as its vaccines and vaccinations are now almost covering the entire population, with its own COVID-19 drugs also coming into play. As of November 15, travelers over 12 will only have to carry proof of the vaccination or a recent RT-PCR test. This is to enter the country, and this replaces some of the strict protocols in the Caribbean earlier. The protocol, along with a US ban on most travel to communist-run island nation next door, which is Cuba, has left tourism well behind competitors in the area, such as the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the Bahamas, and Cancun. So also COVID-19 cases, in fact, and deaths have fallen 80% since the vaccination drive began in the middle of one of the world's worst Delta surges this summer, with more than 65% of that population immunized and 90% having received at least 1 dose of this 3-dose treatment over there. Now, in some other international updates, in Canada, an Indian origin politician, Anita Anand, has become the new defense minister in a cabinet reshuffle by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The cabinet reshuffle took place a month after his Liberal Party returned to power in a snap poll and amid calls for major military reforms. Anand will replace the longtime defense minister, also the Indian origin, Harjit Sajjan. And Anita Anand has a deep background as a corporate lawyer and has worked extensively on corporate governance. Anand, along with Sajjan and Bardish Chaggar, were the 3 Indo-Canadian ministers in the dissolved cabinet who emerged victorious in the parliamentary polls last month. The new cabinet maintains gender balance and has 38 members, up 1 person from before the election. Sukmawati Sukarno Putri, the daughter of Indonesia's former president Sukarno, has converted to Hinduism on her 70th birthday. According to reports, Sukmawati expressed her views on her conversion and said that she thought of converting to Hinduism after her husband had died. And she explained that according to her, Hinduism is her religion of choice because it has intimacy with the Balinese people. And it's time now for news from the world of sports. So in the T20 World Cup today, England will be facing Bangladesh, and they are buoyed by the emphatic win over the defending champions West Indies. England will be looking to continue with this winning momentum when they face Bangladesh in a tricky Super 12 clash. And in another match, Scotland will be playing Namibia in the 21st match of this 2021 edition of the T20 World Cup. Scotland's side will enter this match low on confidence because of the thrashing that they had received from Afghanistan in their Super 12 match on the 25th of October. Now in badminton, Samir Verma advanced to the second round of the men's singles in the French Open. This happened in Paris on Tuesday. Samir Verma beat South Korea's Lee Dong-Kwon, and he won 21-14, 21-12. This was the opening round. Samir Verma will next face the Indonesian Sheshar Hiren Rustavito. Let's move on to soccer then. Chelsea progressed to the quarterfinals of the EFL Cup. This is as they beat the Premier League rivals Southampton. They did so on penalties after the match was drawn 1-1. Reese James scored the decisive spot kick. This is for the league leaders after Theo Walcott and Will Smallbone failed to hit the target with their efforts for the Saints. The Blues have enjoyed a fine start to the campaign both at home and in Europe as they sit top of the Premier League and have won 2 of their 3 games so far in the Champions League. And with that, we conclude Midday Prime for today. Thank you for your time and company. Namaskar.